Yes. Okay. So up till now, what we've seen is we've seen how we use the command describe, then we've seen how we can use summarize, browse, tabulate. Okay. Another thing that we can do is for the command summarize, if you want to, so first when we did the summary for the whole, if you remember, we did it for the whole data set. Now you can also do it for specific variables to see how these variables are behaving. Okay, so if I want to summarize the mileage for the cars, okay, so this is the summarize, if I want to summarize it for the whole data set. Okay, now I want to do it only for the domestic cars. Okay, so what I do is that from this review window, if you see, this gives me all the past commands that I've taken. So I want to repeat it. So I will take the 21st command again, click it, summarize MPG, but I only want it for domestic cars. So I will say that summarize MPG if my variable foreign is equal to 0. Why have I said 0? Because if you remember, the car label for 0 was domestic. Okay, so if I do this, this gives me the mileage for my domestic cars only, which is 19. Okay, if I do my mileage for foreign cars, I need to repeat it again. So summarize my mileage if foreign variable is equal to 1. So this gives me the average mileage for my foreign cars. Which car has a better mileage? We can see that the foreign cars have better mileage on average as compared to the domestic cars. So you can use these variables by utilizing the same commands here and there to see actually what is happening. Another way of doing this, so I've done this separately. Another way of doing the same thing is by the by command. I can say that by foreign, this variable, I'm going to sort my data. So by foreign, we have comma, then we're going to sort it, and we say that I want to summarize my mileage variable. Okay. So the same thing is now coming in one table. If you see, it says foreign domestic, the mileage is the same, 19.82, which was here 19.82. And then we have the mileage for foreign cars, which is 24.77 and 24.77,273. Okay, so just a familiarity with the commands gives you a better, obviously, way of presenting them and saving time as well. So rather than putting in two commands separately, there's a way that we can put them both together in one and then do it. So this is one of another ways that we can look at the descriptives for our data set. Another type of descriptive statistics that we can use is correlation matrices. Okay, so I'm not too sure if you're familiar with them, but basically, we change our focus from exploring categorical relationships to exploring more numerical relationships between the variables, basically. So if I want to see the correlation between mileage per hour, mileage and the weight of the car. So the command for correlation matrix is correlate. So I write correlate, then I write my first variable, which is mileage, and then my second variable, which is weight. Okay, this is my correlation matrix, which says that there are 74 observations that I've taken. Now the correlation is minus 0.8072. Now, the closer I am to 1, the better my correlation is. Okay, so this means that the two variables are closely related to each other and they have a negative sign, which means there is an inverse relationship. So, a negative correlation, which means that as the weight of the car increases, the mileage is going to go down, which does make sense because heavier cars should be harder to push about. So it should take more mileage. So basically, this is one way of looking at the correlations. Then what I can do is if I want to check the correlation for domestic and foreign cars. So is the correlation the same for domestic and for foreign? Over here right now, we have looked at the collective data. Now we are going to look at the data by the foreign variable. So by foreign sort, and now I want to correlate my mileage and the weight of the car. So this. Now, if you look here, the first is for domestic cars, the second is for foreign cars. Now, if you look at domestic cars, my correlation is minus 0.875. For foreign cars, my mileage is minus 0.6829, which means that the correlation is not as strong among the foreign cars as it is among the domestic cars, because my value for the correlation is much closer to 1 for my domestic cars. Okay. Over here, I've checked the correlation between two variables. You can do it for more than one variable as well. So if I want to correlate my mileage, weight, then length, turn, maybe displacement. So all of these. So this gives me a bigger correlation matrix where I see that the correlation between my mileage and weight is negative. Then the between mileage and length of the car is negative. Between length of the car and the weight, it is positive, so on and so forth. Okay, so usually this variable, this correlation variable is used when we want to investigate about the collinearity between our independent variables. So this is a good way of looking at collinearity. Okay, so up till now, are there any questions, anything that you want me to specifically touch upon?
मैम इट वाज रियली इंफॉर्मेटिव बट आई रियली वांटेड टू नो हम इस डेटा को पीडीएफ में किस तरह सेव कर सकते हैं सिंस इट्स नॉट अ वेरी यूजफुल वे टू प्रेजेंट ये वाला डेटा इन दिस फॉर्म तो हाउ
Okay,
कैन वी
अच्छा, so
प्रेजेंट
what
आवर
we,
डेटा इन
okay,
दिस
so basically PDF फॉर्म में तो नहीं, हम उसके लिए लॉग फाइल्स बनाते हैं. Okay, so I thought कि हम in the next session that we're going to do, I am going to uh, let you know कि किस तरह हम log file begin करते हैं. We will do some statistical analysis and then we're going to end our log file. This another way of doing it is taking it to your do file. Do file is it saves all your commands. Okay, and then when we are going to put them in, or you come back to your work, it is easier for you to take it from there. Okay, then when we do regression analysis, we save our tables. So there are commands for that as well. So what we can do is that, so do you all know the basics over here? Is there anybody who hasn't used Stata before?
I have.
Okay, what about the rest? Okay, so you all have used it. Okay, so basically I had the idea that I need to tell you from scratch what is happening. So what we can do is that we'll see what you guys want me to do in the next session, and I'll take it up from there. So, it will be beneficial for you as well. And then I'll also exactly know that what I need to teach all of you. So before I'm going to end the session, I want you to see how do we convert a string variable into a numeric variable. Okay, so because this foreign variable over here, as you know, is a numeric variable, but it is displayed as a string variable. Okay, now there's a way that we can do this. And for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear out this data and I'm going to bring in that raw data again that we started off with. So Okay. Now, if you look in here, the data browser, you'll see that this is in red, the first column and the last column is also in red. This means that it takes both the variables as string variables. What I want to do is I want to give a label. So I want to say that if I'm talking about domestic, I want the numeric to be 0. If I'm talking about foreign, I want the numeric to be 1. So what we can do here is there is a command that we use which is called encode. Okay. So we want to encode foreign into a new variable. And I say that I want to generate a new variable which is foreign underscore car type. Okay. Now if you see here, the color of this new variable has changed from red to uh, blue, which means that it is no longer a string variable now. Now let's see what numbers they have given to this new variable that we have. So it is tab foreign, no label. Okay, so it has given 1 to domestic, 70%, and it has given 2 to foreign cars. Now, in the original data set that we are using right now, they have given a value 0 to domestic and they have given a value 1 to foreign. What we can do is we can change the codes over here. So we can say that we want to recode it. So basically what we do is we recode this variable into 0 and 1 rather than 1 and 2. So what I do is I write recode foreign car type. And then, so 1 is domestic here. I want that 1 to be 0. Okay. And I want 2 to be 1. Okay. Now let's see what has happened. So if I now tab the same code again, foreign label, it is giving me 0 for domestic, which is 70%, and this is 1, which is 30%. So this gives me an idea of how to change a string variable. So this was a string variable and this is a foreign variable. Okay, is it clear or are there any confusions? Okay. So I want you to let me know. So you can write it in the chat box if you want to, that what exactly do you want to learn? Okay. So what do you expect from the next workshop? That would give me an easier way as well to prepare it. And I'll present all that you want to learn rather than we repeat the same thing, because right now what I was told was that you need to start off with the basics. So I need to tell you how to put in the data and how to do the basic commands. So okay, so one is you want to look at regression analysis. Okay, any other idea that you want? So what I'll do is I'll teach you how you need to start your log file, how you need to save your results, and we'll go over the graphs, graphical representation as well. Anything else? Any other idea? Until unless you go, guys are going to be responsive, there's no point then. You need to be responsive. Okay, Mahin?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, okay. So uh, what I feel is that, it's better that if I get to know exactly what
Yeah.
students want to do, because then if you already know the basics, then there's no point in spending time on it, right? So a better way
Mm.
of doing it would be that if you gather, what exactly the students want to learn, okay, or
Yeah.
where they are finding difficulties, so that we can make the session more productive, until
Okay. All
unless.
right. I'll do that.
Yes. So you take some ideas from students that what exactly do they want to learn, okay? Because I feel that, do you guys all have you done Strata before?
I don't think many have, because
Okay.
we were here for the basics basically. This is the
Okay.
first time we're learning it.
Okay, okay. So the
Yeah.
idea here is that we need to have an interactive session so that,
Yeah.
I also understand what is happening on the other end, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Just to have a basic idea, I just came up with very basic starting
Basic.
points, right? So what I want you to
Yeah.
do is jot down a few points that you feel that the students want me to touch upon, okay? And then we can take it,
Okay. All right. I'll do that.
okay? And then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, right? So should I stop here then, right? I'll stop here.
Yes, I think that's enough. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then. So you will get back to me, okay, and then we'll see how we need to proceed if we
Oh,
have further,
all
right?
right.
Okay,
All
thank you
right.
so much.
Thank you so much, Professor, for your time.
You.